Hi guys, Dave here. Dave's LFC Chats. I've got the legend. He's back. John Gibbons from the Anfield Wraps. John, how are you, my friend?
I'm excellent, Dave. Thanks for having me back on. Nice time to do it, isn't it? Nice time to talk about the Reds. Any excuse, eh?
Listen, it's been 30 years of hell, to be honest, and just to win it. I know we sort of more or less won it before the pandemic, but you had to seal it. You know what I mean? But before we get stuck into it, what did you do the night of the actual win? I mean, we didn't win it at the night. Chelsea, the City game. I mean, you're obviously watching that game, and it was sealed when Chelsea beat City. What did you do? Did you go crazy? Did you do a Zoom call? What did you do?
I went over to a mate's house, so all the Liverpool games I've just watched at home. Partly because we do hot mic commentary and things like that. So me and Neil do link up over Skype. You know, I'm in my house, he's in his, and we do sort of commentary for the Liverpool games. And then straight after, we're busy doing Anfield Wraps stuff. So all the Liverpool games, you know, right up to the end, I've just watched at home. But City, Chelsea, I just had a little feeling Chelsea would do it, and so my mate was setting up a projector in his back garden. He's got quite a big garden. He said, "Oh, setting up a projector, got it all sorted. You know, do you want to come over? He just having 6 or 7 of his mates over." So I said, "Well, I'll have to do a bit, you know, if it happens." And he said, "Don't worry, bring your laptop, we'll sort it." So I was there. But I'm so glad I was, because it was brilliant, you know, because they were like mainly the lads who, you know, I've known for a long time. We've been to a lot of games together. I remember that group of friends who all went to Athens together in 07, and obviously that was disappointing 2007, but we had a brilliant time, like, you know. So yeah, a lot of us have been on sort of, you know, the same journey and together. So it was nice to sort of be with them, and also they live on a main road, and as soon as the final whistle went, all the cars were out beeping, and there's fireworks going off everywhere, and yeah, it was good celebration in Liverpool, like.
Do you know what? I actually had a feeling Chelsea. See, I think there was only a draw needed anyway. So I had a feeling. Yeah. I knew, and I said to Chris Pajak recently that I think I had a feeling that we would get the draw. So on my way home from work, I stopped in to get a bottle of champagne, because just in case. So, you know, I had a feeling. And I actually watched the game with my father-in-law, who's a Man City fan, by the way, since the 70s. He's an Irish international and played professional football back in the 60s and 70s, and he's seen it all, done it, and like even he was saying congratulations. But when the whistle blew, he just left the house. He knew I was going to go mad. It was unbelievable. But okay, the 30-year wait is over. Premier League champions, records all over the shop. I think we equaled the City 32 win record, Premier League 32 win record as well, which a lot of people forgot about. But I just think the team itself, John, since Klopp came in October 15, the trajectory has generally been on an up curve, you know, all the way. And I'm just thinking to myself, how can we get better? How can we be better? Like last year, Champions League win, number 6 came home, 97 points. It just shows how hard it is to get 97 points and not win it. We got 99 this year. But I was worried last year getting 97. I was saying to myself, are we ever going to win this league? Like getting 97, not winning. I was worried, genuinely worried. So the biggest thing this year with me was just relief in getting over the line. I don't know whether it was the same with you. Just relief.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Relief was definitely one emotion, because it did feel like, you know, you were starting to worry, were we ever going to do it? Do you know what I mean? 97 points and not winning it. And you know, you do start to wonder whether, you know, how long is this going to go on for? And, you know, I mean, you know, you got Liverpool cursed, you know, there was the whole thing with Brucey, you know, having a wee on the posts and all that, trying to lift it. But, you know, some of these cases, you know, you read about American sports, you know, Boston Red Sox was over 80 years or whatever. So you're like, well, maybe it's not going to be even in our lifetime type thing. So for them to do it, I think relief was one emotion, but you know, I was ecstatic as well, and it was a much more bigger release of kind of joy than I expected it to be, really, because we did wonder a little bit about what it's going to be like, because obviously, you know, with behind closed doors and you know, or what's going to, you know, what it'd be like watching, and you're not Liverpool aren't even playing, but it was brilliant, you know, and if it feels even better when you're in the stadium, then well, bring on next year, because that'll be something else.
Well, I know, and you hear Klopp talking about we will celebrate when the time's right. Obviously, fans aren't in the stadium, and there was no parade. And I actually had flights booked to go over to Liverpool for the last game of the season and stay for the Monday and Tuesday, just in case there was a parade. But obviously, that didn't happen. But, I mean, another big news this week was the likes two top pros leaving the club, Lallana and Dejan Lovren, of course. But two top pros. I mean, Dejan Lovren, he had his problems. I mean, he had his dejectors and stuff like that. But really, he was a good pro, never moaned, had a few injuries, made a few mistakes. But when he played, I think he did okay. And, you know, when he had to stand in big games, the Dortmund game, remember the header? I mean, I was at the Leicester City game at Anfield in October when Milner scored the penalty winner. I mean, he was nearly man of the match that game. So, I mean, and Lallana as well coming on against United, actually getting the 1-1. Two great pros. What do you think those two guys leaving?
Yeah, I think the time's right for both of them in different ways. And I think, look, they're both examples of good players, but we probably moved past them now, and that's the aim for the football club, isn't it? Is that you aim to get better, and so they both came in, similar-ish times, both from Southampton, of course, that period where that they were our sort of finishing school, if you like, weren't they? And I think for Lovren, it was a consistency thing. I think he could be really good one week, and you mentioned some good performances from him there. Obviously, none of us will forget Dortmund, but that's for the other end. But there were some good defensive performances as well, but just a bit erratic. And the thing about this team is they're so consistent, aren't they? So now, and that's how they've been able to get 99 points. That's how they've been able to do what they've done, is they're just on it every week. And Lovren's just not quite there. He might be good 2 out of 3, but then it's not high enough standard for this Liverpool team now. So best for him if he goes. I'm sure he'll do well at Zenit, and hopefully he'll enjoy it. They're a team who plays European football and all that. So I think it's a good standard for him to go to, and you wish him well. Lallana, Klopp loved him, didn't he? But it's injuries. It's is he going to be available? There's been times where he played well this season. You mentioned the United one. I thought Everton at home in the FA Cup when he was leading that young team, and I thought he was excellent, and just the energy he brought. And you've seen how much he's respected within the club this week, haven't you? When people have talked about him and discussed his impact, on and off the pitch, really, and that sort of says a lot. But again, I think it is good time for him. I think the Brighton move's a nice one for him. It's a good club for him to play at. They'll probably look for him to to do a bit of leadership there as well. And yeah, you wish both of them the best of luck.
The other thing is, and I was just thinking, with those two boys leaving, we've a lot of good young lads coming up through, the likes of Curtis Jones, Williams, Harvey Elliott, these type guys, a few others as well. But I think, I know Klopp hinted it the other day, I think we might bring 1 or 2 in, not huge signings, £100 million signings, those days are probably gone, but I think we will bring 1 or 2 in, and I think we probably will need to just fill those gaps. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think you'd like to see them bring players in. Obviously, we wanted to, Timo Werner was someone who's identified, and then I think they just decided that they couldn't get that one done. I think Jürgen's talked a lot about the uncertainty and, not knowing sort of, what we have. I think more and more we're starting to see sort of a pathway out of this. And, Jürgen said in an interview the other day, well, I didn't even know there was going to be Champions League football next season and things like that. And so you can start to gauge the things that they were talking about. What's the transfer market going to be like? Well, now, we have started selling players. We've got £10 million for Lovren. It's not a huge amount of money, but it all helps. And it shows that, the 2 or 3 like saleable assets, if you like, that we have, there probably will be a market for them. So I think a lot's changed since the Werner thing, and I think now they'll hopefully be feeling a lot more positive about bringing in money in the future and about their income sort of for the next year. So hopefully we'll see some movement, because I think it can only help, can't it? Look, the team's great. There's 1 or 2 around the team who were really good as well, and then there just is a bit of a drop. And you want to see the young players do well. You want to see. I don't want to bring in squad players in just to block the path for young players who could be doing the job, but then at the same time you look at up front especially, and you think, well, the other option there would be good, and maybe defensively as well, especially with Lovren going. So 2 or 3 more. But listen, we don't have to do too much, do we? We're the champions, Dave. They've got to catch up with us.
Exactly. And I don't go into transfers because they're just a bloody minefield, to be honest with you. But the other thing was, of course, yesterday the news broke that Jurgen Klopp won the LMA Manager of the Year award. I mean, that was the best kept secret because, I mean, he had to win it, didn't he? I mean, well deserved.
Obviously, there was a little bit of talk of Chris Wilder and things like that. And look, he's done well. But, you know, Jurgen, he's won us the big one for the first time in 30 years. They won it at a canter. You know, as you say, breaking records along the way and stuff like that. It had to be Jurgen, but nice to see him get it. I'm sure he's quietly enjoying it, even though he doesn't like to say too much. And it was funny with Fergie, to be fair. Little joke saying he'd rang him at 3:30 in the morning and all that. It was good fun. So yeah, everything brilliant about the whole thing.
Did he really ring him at 3:30 in the morning, or was that just a joke? He probably did.
You know, in Jurgen, he probably thought it was fine.
Okay, just before we go, the Anfield Wrap, of course, you have been brilliant through this crazy pandemic lockdown. I mean, you have been churning out the content. Kudos for that. But you have helped me over the year and the past 2 years. Thank you very much for that as well. Yourself, Neil, Garrett Roberts. I did a great video with Garrett last month. Thank you for that. And he's also had a podium finish in the British Podcast Awards for the third year in a row. Is that right?
Yeah, we came third this year. Look, the competition's getting stiffer all the time, and that's the thing with those is that, you know, the podcast industry's growing all the time. You know, you look at the companies like the BBC and the money they're throwing at podcasts. So you know, we used to be one of the biggest podcasts around, and now we're sort of, you know, in the middle somewhere. But so it's getting harder than ever. So to come third was brilliant, and we're made up that so many people did vote for us. So if anyone obviously listening to this or watching this did vote for us, then thank you.
You're well worth the vote, my friend. Well worth the vote. Listen, I'm going to let you go. It's been absolutely brilliant. As I say, the season's over, but we go again. This team, I think, can even get better, to be honest with you. Maybe one or two people come in. I think they're on a 2-week break now. It's the most well-deserved break that they can get. I just hope everybody's safe and well, comes back ready to rock and roll for the new season as champions. John, it's been a pleasure.
Top man. Thanks, Sean.
Talk to you soon. Cheers.